Hey, what's up guys? Going to be taking a look at a bunch of new Pendulum cards that are going to be coming out into the game. Now, these cards don't come out until next Challenger, so it is a few sets away, but it's always good to look ahead of the game and know what you're going to have to face up against and stock up on certain cards that can maybe stop some of these cards from being able to be so extremely powerful. But anyways, if you guys don't know what the heck Pendulum cards are, they're half monster and half spells. I actually did a video tutorial on how to actually perform a Pendulum summon, so if you'd actually like to understand how Pendulums work a little bit more, or what the heck these things are, you can do so by visiting a link down below in the description box, because I will be talking about these cards as if you know what a Pendulum summon is. But let's go ahead and kick it off now with our first card that we're going to talk about, which is Rescue Rat. Anything with Rescue Cat or Rescue in its name, you know it's good. Rescue Cat already banned, Rescue Rabbit already put down to 1, because anything with Rescue, Konami just has to make them good. But anyways, it's got a level of 4 and a Pendulum skill of 5. Its Pendulum effect is that you can banish this card from your Pendulum zone to add 2 face-up Pendulum monsters with the same name from your extra deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Rescue Rat once per duel. So how you would use his Pendulum effect is basically, let's say that you go for the Magician of Astromancy or Chronomancy, or now as they are called the Time and Stargazer magicians. Basically, let's say you go for a play and you go for a huge push, and let's say you get stopped, they MSC your Pendulum, and then they're put face up in the extra deck zone. Now you can go ahead and add it back, as long as, of course, you have 2 of the same ones. I think that is great that they added that. Making it so they have the same name makes it a lot less good, because being able to add back Azneyeswhitedragon already is already too good, because adding back double of these and then being able to just activate them again, let them get destroyed, and basically search out most of your Pendulums is going to be crazy. So Azneyeswhitedragon, you can always add back this, activate him as a Pendulum card, and then just let him get destroyed, and then he's back in the face-up extra deck position, and then from there you can just go ahead to add and search more. But that's basically how his Pendulum effect would be used. Also, he has a monster effect. During your main phase, if this card was normal summoned this turn, and a level 5 or lower Pendulum monster is in your extra deck, you contribute this card to special summon from your main deck 2 monsters with the same name as one level 5 or lower Pendulum monster that is face up in your extra deck. Their effects are negated and they are destroyed during the end phase. Now, that effect does not have the downside that you can only activate its effect once per duel. So that's really good, because you can actually spam the board even harder with your Pendulums, and they don't have to be in defense position, because at first I was like, oh, they probably want you to XYZ because they're destroyed at the end phase. Now, who cares if they're destroyed during the end phase, because all that means is you're just going to have more cards just to bring out with your Pendulums anyway, so that can be pretty nasty. And you don't have to XYZ with it, because it doesn't matter. They're destroyed during the end phase. Who cares? Synchro with them. Do whatever you want with them. But it doesn't matter that their effects are negated, because you can still attack with them. And there's actually one deck that we'll talk about. It's a new archetype called the DeeDees. I don't think they count as the different dimension cards, but nonetheless, we'll talk about them shortly, because they're in this video. Next up, we have the Entermate. I'm going to call it Trampolynx Cat, because I don't know how to pronounce it. Trampolynx. I think it's probably some other pronunciation for cat. Anyways, he's a level 2 monster with a Pendulum scale of 4. His Pendulum effect is when you Pendulum summon a monster or monsters, you can target 1 card in a Pendulum zone and return that card to the hand. You can only use this effect of the Trampolynx Cat once per turn. His monster effect is, when it's normal summon, you can target 1 card in a Pendulum zone and return that target to the hand. Now, what this will do is basically, maybe you can bounce back your own stuff. Maybe you want to go for a Black Rose play or something like that. That's kind of good. You can bounce back your own stuff and maybe blow up the field. That's always good. Or maybe you can even bounce back your opponent's Pendulum cards, because Pendulums sometimes have effects where they lower attack, or they do stuff. And basically, if you want to get rid of your opponent's stuff, basically it's kind of like a compulse for Pendulums, I guess you can call it. But I don't really know how he would be used, other than maybe you're going to go for a huge Pendulum play. You want to bounce back your stuff, so maybe you don't get Black Rose Dragon, or you want to go for a Black Rose Dragon, or you're going for something that's going to blow up the field, essentially. Whether it's Exciton Knight or something like that, hey, you can bounce back your own Pendulum so you don't really lose your stuff. I guess that's how he would be used. Now we're into the DeeDee, or I don't think these are actually different dimensions. They don't really look like they belong in that archetype. But anyways, this is DeeDee Proud Chevalier. He is a dark that is a level 5 with a Pendulum scale of 6. His Pendulum effect is, once per turn you can pay 500 life points, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. That monster loses 600 attack. And if you do not control a DeeDee monster in your other Pendulum zone, this card's Pendulum scale becomes 5. When this card is normal summoned, you get to add a 1 face-up dark Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. that's a pretty good effect, going back to being able to abuse Odd-Eyes Pendulum Dragon, which searches out a bunch of the pendulums. Now, this card can only add a pendulum monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, so you won't be able to actually add him because he's got 2000 attack. So I think that's good. Otherwise, there might be this little ability to kind of abuse it. Now, he can only get his effect when he's normal summoned for his monster effect, so I think that that's good, because being able to add Odd-Eyes is just too good. It's basically a star card, I would say, of Pendulums right now. But I don't really know how he would be really used for his monster effect, because, I mean, Pendulum doesn't seem in a deck that you'd really like to tribute summon in, but you know, who knows, maybe there's going to be a archetype like this one over here that's going to actually incorporate tributing, you know, stuff. But anyways, this archetype kind of wants to reduce your opponent's stuff and boost your stuff. So next card is DeeDee Proud Ogre. His pendulum effect is once per turn, you can pay 500 life points, then target one DeeDee monster you control. It gains 500 attack. If you do not control a DeeDee card in your other pendulum zone, this card's pendulum scale becomes 5. His monster effect is when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one face-up dark pendulum monster from your extra deck. Its effects are negated, and if you activate this effect, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except DeeDee monsters. So basically, I think this archetype wants to be like, you know what, I'm going to reduce your attack or boost my attack up, then I'm just going to run over your stuff. Now, what's really cool with this is this archetype is permanent, where you pay 500 life points, you target one face of monster opponent controls, and that monster loses 600 attack. It's not till the end phase or next standby phase. That is permanent, unless, of course, your opponent, you know, activates something that boosts their attack back up. So I think that that is pretty good. Same thing with the boost of this. It gains 500 attack, and there's no stopping it until, like, the end phase or something like that. So I think that's good. You can boost up your monsters to absurd amounts of attacks and can lower your opponent's stuff. So I think that is kind of the way that this archetype wants to play. But I don't really think that that playstyle is going to be that great in the game, simply because, you know, Deprison, Mirror Force, those still get rid of your stuff and you're left with still nothing. If it was pay 500 life points to make it so your monster could, like, stay alive or something like that, hey, that'd be a little bit different. Lastly, we have two Pendulum monsters that I just wanted to mention because they're kind of funny. I don't think they'll be really used. Actually, there's the Entermate archetype, which they need more actually to be pretty good. We'll go over, like, these are really, like, kind of, I feel like these are kind of like the joke ones as of right now. But basically, let's go ahead and go over, is it the Silver Claw? I mean, these are just, they're just so mediocre. They basically want you to, like, gain 300 attack. Like, it's a level 4 monster that can boost itself up to 21. I don't really think that they're, like, that great to mention, so I don't think we will be mentioning these unless we get some more you know, support from them. I mean, like, look at Turmoil over here. Its pendulum effect is, it just boosts their attack up just a little bit. And do you guys think that that's really going to be good? I think Pendulums really excel at being able to be like, I'm going to go throw a bunch of monsters, then I'm going to make you lose. Like, you know, Scraps can do that really easy. But for the most part, I mean, the Scorpion, like, no one really is going to use these. At least that's the way I see it right now. Hey, I could be totally wrong, because I think the best ones are the Star and Time Gazer, but I figured we would mention the Entermate archetype, because who knows, maybe this will be good. They'll release some other ones. But I've checked them out previously, and they're just like, boost their attack up by the 300. It's like, well, big deal if you're just not going to be able to OTK, and they're kind of weak as they already are. But anyways, what's really interesting is they're adding normal pendulums that have effects, which is, like, mind blown right there. But anyways, this is Spellstone Cannon. I don't even know what the heck is he, a gun with some arms? But anyways, he is a level 5 with a pendulum scale of 2. During the end phase of the turn this card is activated, you can target one face-up spell or trap on the field, and you get to destroy that target. So that's not too bad. Maybe your opponents go for a Pendulum deck, and you can disrupt them with this card. I don't really know how you would want this card, really. It doesn't have a Pendulum monster effect because it's a normal, which is kind of interesting. And I was also thinking, you know, this is kind of interesting because something like Rescue Rat would actually be able to bring out, well, not Rescue Rat, Rescue Cat could actually bring out 2 vanillas. I know that this one's level 5, but let's say that, you know, in the future they release other ones. You could just let them die, and then they just go face up in the Pendulum zone, and then from there, you'd be able to have the Rescue Rat add them back to your hand. So you could see that they're trying to incorporate some type of, you know, combos with these cards. Like I said, Rescue Cat into vanillas, into Rescue Rat, into add them back to your hand, and then maybe you could go for a Pendulum. I don't know. I just feel like this card is definitely going to be good. Konami doesn't make rescue cards that aren't insane, but I really feel like this could be, you know, something that will be pretty good. If you guys know actually how to abuse the Entermates, because I feel like the Entermates, they're just so mediocre, but who knows? Maybe they're making a joke like the Ojamas, and then they'll release something that will be good for them in the future. I know someone's gonna be like, Asian Eyes, Ojamas are so good. You don't know what you're talking about. Maybe if you open up with, well, Delta Hurricane's a pretty cool card. But anyways, it's just crazy that we have normal monsters that technically have effects, but I know they're half spell, half monster. But anyways, if you guys are ready for Pendulums, let me know. If you guys think that they came out way too fast, basically I think that they're going to be really good because in a sense that they allow older decks to see play. Like, no one ever summons Gate Guardian, but you can do the ability to, you have the ability to special summon Gate Guardian, which, you know, is kind of just hilarious. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of other decks that normally don't see any play, and you can bring out, like, the level up, like the, I don't know, Dark Insects and the Dark Lucius, and all these other cards that normally don't see any play, they'll be seeing play with Pendulums. But anyways, in the TCG, we have Soul Charge, so I think Pendulums will be much better than the TCG because over in the OCG, Shadal's they're wrecking everything. That is the best deck according to the OCG right now. But anyways, that's a video for another day. But anyways, let me know, guys, like I said, if you guys are excited for Pendulums, or if you guys are like, you know what, I don't really want to, you know, play them, and I'm sad that they introduced this new archetype. But hey, I guess you can host one of those games that say no Pendulums, no XYZs, no Synchros, no extra deck, you know, as some people do on Dueling Network. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Asian Eyes out.